This is Larry the Barber Man, and today I'm at the headquarters of Booksy Appointment App here in Poland. I'll be interviewing the CEO of this great company. Today I'm going to bring you the story of Booksy, past, present and future. And you'll be hearing it straight from the horse's mouth. So Stefan, thank you ever so much for inviting me to the headquarters of Booksy's. I'm thrilled that you've invited me and I'm keen to hear your story.
Well, welcome to Booksy, and I'm really happy that you made the trip and that you are here with us today.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to the evening too.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun.
Okay, so like I said, I want to hear the story of Booksy. Tell me how you came up with the idea for Booksy. What was your motivation to create an appointment app? As like myself, you are not a barber.
Well, it was a process. It's hard to pinpoint that to one specific thing, but to make long story short, I'm a long distance runner and I train a lot, and especially when I get ready for my races and I feel something is not okay, I need to see a physiotherapist or a massage therapist to check on my muscles to see if a massage will do the job or if I need to see a doctor. So because I'm really busy with my day-to-day work, I usually do my workouts like super late night, 11 p.m., sometimes after midnight. And when I finish that and I feel I need to see a physiotherapist, it's already too late to give him a call. Even when I sent him a text message, he never replied. So it happened very often that he was available the first thing in the morning, but I never was aware of that. And he never replied soon enough for me to make it at 8 a.m. in his office. So I missed out on a lot of opportunities to see him the very next day in the morning, and he also missed out on me as a client. And the next day when I tried to reach him during his working hours, he was usually busy giving somebody a massage, and when he's busy working with his hands, he cannot answer phone calls, he cannot reply to text messages. So in many cases it took me a few hours, sometimes even a couple of days, to schedule an appointment with him, even though he had available time slots. So that was like the very last moment in that process when I realized that there's got to be something that would solve that problem. And then Konrad is my partner. We've been working together for 12 years, running a software development company. We came up with an idea of Booksy that would solve my personal problem, but along that process we also interviewed about 100 different service providers that included barbers, hairstylists, physio and massage therapists, nail stylists, and also other service providers, even including babysitters, dog walkers, plumbers, roofers, and we found out that they all shared the same common problem. They work with their hands. When they work with their hands, they are busy, they cannot answer phone calls, and they miss out on business. And what was quite surprised that they not only miss on business, but also clients who want to reschedule appointments or want to cancel it, they couldn't reach them neither. So they were not able to reach them by phone and cancel an appointment, and then they just stayed in their shops or salons waiting for clients who never showed up. So once we connected the dots and found out how many different use scenarios there are and how difficult it is to schedule appointments, reschedule appointments, cancel appointments, and how many available time slots they have that are not used, not because they are bad in their profession, but because the process is inefficient. That was like the end of the process when we made the decision, okay, so we are gonna do it. We will come up with an app that will solve that problem.
Okay, so why are you targeting barbers in particular? Because you've got an aggressive drive going on at the moment in the barbering industry, which they are, by all accounts, enjoying and loving.
we are targeting barbers because of two reasons. There are many other verticals that we are targeting as well, but with barbers especially, two things are different than with other verticals. This is the least penetrated industry. Most of barbers are still using pen and papers, where some hair salons have been using some kind of salon management software for years now, not necessarily booking software, but even if they use like a kind of back office system to manage the salon, to manage inventory, to manage commissions for the employees, it's much more difficult for them to switch over to Booksy. And the second thing is that if a salon uses software, they typically have a computer. And we designed Booksy with mobile-first approach. We designed it for mobile phones first because we knew that a lot of people in that industry didn't have computers in their shops. So with mobile-first approach and with barbers using pen and paper, it seems like a perfect niche to start with. However, in the past few months, we've been expanding and we've been very successful with nail stylists, with many hair salons, even with personal trainers and dietitians, and even we have like doctors and some dentists started using Booksy.
Okay, I mean, your thinking is definitely on the right line. I mean, personally, I've interviewed 3 barbers, and in that particular discussion, we was discussing appointment apps, and in one situation, Cutthroat Pete, which is quite a famous barber in Liverpool, he was actually considering leaving the occupation because he was felt pressured and stressed when he had 4 or 5 people waiting for 3 hours. So he was going to leave, and then he found the appointment system app, and he's happy and he loves the game and is in love with his occupation again. And one other testimonial before going on to the next question was a gentleman in Scotland. When he was off of the appointment app system, he had a client that came in and had a haircut. The minute he went on to a appointment app system, he started getting shaves. And the customer, off his own accord, said, the only reason I'm getting a shave now is because when I wanted to get a shave and people was waiting, I felt pressured, and it's a really relaxed service. So, you know, by all accounts, it's a fantastic system for the barbering industry. So I do salute you. So what would you say separates your appointment system from other appointment systems that are out there?
There are a couple of things that we've always had in our minds when designing Booksy, and like this is the core of this company and how we want to move forward. So the first one, we designed it mobile first. We always knew that this will be crucial for Booksy's success, not only for merchants but also for their clients, because when you think of appointment scheduling systems, there were web-based systems out there in the market for 10, 12, maybe even 15 years, but people simply didn't use them. People didn't use them because it was just easier to call somebody than go back to your home or office, open up a laptop, wait until it boots, open a browser, go to a website, log into the website, and then try to schedule. So there was so much hassle in the web online booking systems that people still continued calling or sending text messages. And we believed that our mobile-first approach would actually solve that problem with online booking systems. And it did. Like today, we know that that was the right move and that was the right answer. The second thing is the ease of use. There are a lot of systems that are complicated, too complex, both for service providers and clients. So with everything we do, we always ask ourselves, okay, we know this feature is needed, but it will overcomplicate the system. So can we just do it in a different way? Can we simplify it? So there is like a constant battle within ourselves, trying to figure out, okay, how to bring a complex system that would be suitable for different verticals, for different businesses, because everyone manages their business a little bit differently, and how to make it super easy at the same time. So these are like two things that we believe that were crucial to our success, and that they make a huge difference when anyone concerns using any kind of booking system.
So what would you say the main trends that you're noticing within the industry, and how is Booksy catering for these trends?
There is one big trend that we are seeing because of how Booksy operates, and that there are two apps that are integrated together, Booksy Biz for merchants and Booksy for their clients. And because clients book with them at night, even if somebody cancels like few hours or maybe even an hour before the appointment, there is always a chance that somebody else will look up the availability and they can fill in that last minute spot. So I met with few barbers in the US and they all told me that before Booksy, they always had empty chair on Fridays and Saturdays. Well, not constantly empty, but like they couldn't fill it in 100%, even though they were super successful barbers and they like couldn't keep up with answering all the phone calls and replying to all the text messages. And they said that the second they started using Booksy, that stopped being a problem. I mean, people could just check their availability and book appointments by themselves. So it's not only that we took out stress of their lives, but actually the fill rate became much higher. That's because like people had that availability of checking that last minute, and they said, oh, he's available in 20 minutes, so I'm gonna book it, and then they went to their shop. So
one man's copper is another man's gold.
Yeah, exactly. So like this is a huge trend, and because of that, we actually thought, how can we take it further? And there is next feature that we are gonna put on top of our booking functionality. It's called waitlist. So in the next few weeks, we'll be releasing a waitlist. So if somebody is a super busy barber or a hairstylist and people need to wait days or weeks to get in, they will be able to book an appointment with them, but also indicate like, hey, let me know if something becomes available sooner than that. And then if somebody cancels at 3 a.m., all the people that signed up for the waitlist, they will be notified that there is an available time slot.
And first man come, first serve.
Exactly. Okay. So like there are different ways we can play that, and we will test it with our clients, with our barbers and hairstylists. So this can be first come, first serve. This can be, whoever confirms that and pays upfront, because this is also another problem in the industry, that people don't show up and then they don't pay. So we also see that upfront payments are more and more used by barbers and hairstylists. So they require people to give credit card details before they book. So when somebody puts in the card details, then they are less likely not to come, because they are aware that they could still be charged. It's kind of like with hotels and other industries, like they've had it for years, and hair and beauty industry is not using the tools or processes that have been developed in other industries. So we are also trying to bring those best practices from other industries and help barbers and hairstylists to use it and to maximize their potential.
And I mean, that's a very good practice, on the proviso that the barber provides a professional service. Then they can take the credit card details, and if they've allotted a time to the client, it's fair that the client should pay for their time. They're a professional and they provide a professional service. So that's a great service.
Well, one of the very first trends that we've noticed, and that was actually something that I expected from my personal experience, but right now we see that, and we have hard numbers to prove that trend, is that when people switch from whatever they did before Booksy and they start using Booksy, that 60% of the appointments come outside of their working hours. So it means that people book appointments with them at night, super early in the morning, over weekends, over holidays, and that changes business dramatically, because people before Booksy, they wouldn't be able to make those appointments, or they would make them, but they would be postponed. So because of that, we also see, and this is on a basis of 1 million appointments that we processed in May only. So we have a really solid data to prove that. people who switched from calling and sending emails and text messages and they started self-booking with Booksy, they come more frequently. And this can be as high as 20 to 30% more frequently. So the same client who used to call you and visit you, let's say 8 or 10 times a year, right now that client comes 12, sometimes 14 times a year. So this is like a huge trend that we see inside service providers, inside Booksy, with service providers who are onboarding their clients. And we see that over time, the percentage of clients that are booking traditional way with phone calls and text messages, when they shift to self-booking, they just start coming more frequently. And this is great because everyone knows it's just much easier and much cheaper to give your existing clients better service and keep them as clients than to acquire new clients. But for some reason, most of us think and always go after new clients after growing our business with acquiring new clients. But just with a tip of your finger, you can increase your business and you can have more appointments, more revenue just with your existing clientele, because these are loyal clients. They visit those barbers and hairstylists and physiotherapists because for some reason they like them, they are happy with them. They just want them to be more available. They just want to be allowed to book appointments at their convenience. So taking hassle out of the process changes the way the industry works, changes the way that people actually run their business. Yeah. And another thing that I love about Booksy, and we see literally dozens of emails and messages that we are getting every week, is not only about revenue and how we are helping to grow their businesses, but also that we are helping them to change their lifestyles. That thanks to Booksy, they get less stress at work, that they can spend more time with their families, that they've got finally time to eat lunch. That was one of the best stories I've ever heard. I got an email from a barber in the US who wrote me, thank you Booksy for helping me to have a healthy lifestyle, because before Booksy, I had a lunch break, but I never had time to eat lunch. I had to reply all those emails, direct messages, text messages, return phone calls, so I ended up not eating lunch at all. And now with Booksy, I finally have 30 minutes that I can eat lunch. So we are getting stories like that literally every week, with people just saying how much we've changed their life, how much stress we took out of their profession, because most of people who are in the industry, they are great artists. They fancy themselves as artists, but most of them do all the administration work, not because they love it, but because they have to do it. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have business. So they started managing their shop, managing their hair salon, managing their clientele out of necessity, not out of desire. So we are taking out all the stuff that's not really directly involved with their passion, with what they love doing. So we are just making their lives easier and let them focus on what they do best and what they love doing, on making people look great, on making people feel great.
Yeah, I mean, what sprung out for me there is when you said that the clients actually book the appointment outside of working hours. So, you're talking about this gentleman not getting time to eat his lunch. His food, if you like, or his revenue for the next day is being prepared the night before when he's relaxing, not by the phone ringing. So, I mean, that in itself is, for me, a priceless piece of software, And just quickly, what would you say the most popular feature is on Booksy? Because you've got a number of features. What would you say the most popular one is amongst barbers?
I would say that the booking feature is the most popular one, because we are expanding and we are adding a lot of new features to help service providers to manage their salons. But as I mentioned, everyone runs their business a bit differently. So everyone manages people differently. Some people employ other barbers and hairstylists. Some of them just rent out chairs and have independent contractors. Some of them sell products and cosmetics, some of them don't. So like with all the other features that we are developing, we get like we get a lot of differences in usage. But booking is core of our product, so everyone basically uses the booking feature. So everyone uses that. Well, everyone uses like what's most important. Actually, it's not even service providers who are using that, but they are pushing it to their clients so they can use it.
You've spoken about that the app caters for a number of different kinds of people, self-employed, people that rent the chair, etc. Is there an element of customization on the Booksy app? Can you customize the app for your particular?
Booksy is very robust, very flexible, so no matter whether you're an independent contractor or a salon owner or a shop owner, you can customize it to make it work for you exactly the way you need it. So you can customize your calendar, you can customize the schedule, you can customize employee services that you have pricing for those services, you can customize a lot of different things. Some of them are like really small, like padding time between services if you need to clean up something before you can have another client. So it's super flexible and super easy at the same time. We recently developed a lot of features for salon owners, so they can track their revenue, they can track all the statistics, they can track new clients versus repeat clients. They can also use point of sales to track sales, to calculate commissions, to pay out commissions to the employees or subcontractors. So we've been adding a lot of exciting new features to Booksy. So it caters for more verticals and also for more complex environments, bigger salons or even chains that want to use it.
Okay, so I've got an appointment book. I've been on an appointment book for 5 or 6 years. I've got no technical acumen whatsoever. I want to get started. What kind of level of support do you give at the beginning when a barbershop is deliberating or changing over to Booksy?
We have a great customer support team that will help you with onboarding and will help you to set up the account. Depending on your geography, they can do it on site or at least by phone. But let me tell you one thing, in most cases, and we've got like over 5,000 people, 5,000 businesses using Booksy right now, most of them didn't need any kind of support. And I believe that speaks for itself. That shows how easy Booksy is. The only thing you need to know is actually how you manage your business. When you have your services, your price list, your employees, then setting up Booksy account takes literally a couple of minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes in super complex environments. So we've got thousands of people who signed up with us and are using Booksy now as paying clients, and most of them set up their accounts by themselves. It happens that from time to time they have a question like, okay, how do I, when I go on vacation, how do I do that? Or like when I change something, how do I do that? And then we have this feature, it's called in-app chat, and you can always ask somebody, and 24/7 we have people from customer service team that will be there to help you to answer your questions. And if it's needed, they will just give you a call back and walk you through that. But like in most cases, people can just kick off by themselves because it's really, really easy to use.
It's foolproof.
It is. In most cases, it is. I mean, I won't claim it's 100% bulletproof because there will always be examples and people doing something that it was for us difficult to predict, but it's super easy to set up. I mean, you can just literally, we've seen examples where people set up their account, posted that on Instagram, and in the next hour or so, they had over 10 appointments, just like that. It shows that it's easy to set up, easy to roll out to your clients, and easy for them to download the app and just start booking with you.
Okay, so coming off of current Booksy for a while, and we're talking about future Booksy. You've got some exciting industry news. Are you in a position that you can share that with me? Because you've been teasing me for the last 2 weeks, Stefan.
We've been always doing things that nobody has ever done before us. So we were the first one to push notifications to Apple Watches. So when you are a barber cutting somebody hair or giving them a shave, and your phone is in your pocket or put aside, you can actually see that people are booking with you because you get notifications. We were the first one that actually designed a set of 2 apps that were mobile apps, because there were systems before Booksy, but as I mentioned, they were online systems, or they had only customer app, they didn't have a merchant app. Another thing that we are doing with Booksy as first ones in industry, we call it a gap processing time. That's not necessarily for barbers, but for hairstylists. When you do coloring and you put that color on, then the client sits in the chair and waits, and then you can take care of another client. So we are making sure that 2 people can actually book with you kind of in parallel, that you can take care of 2 clients and you don't waste time, because if we block out 2 hours and you have a 1 hour in between, then it's a waste of time, and no other booking app does that. So we were the first one to deliver that for hair and beauty industry. One of the things that we introduced a few weeks ago are automated responders. These are both text responders and missed call responders. So what Booksy does for you is that if you're busy cutting people hair and somebody sends you a text message or somebody tries to call you, we automatically reply, sorry, I'm busy right now, I cannot take your call, but if you would like to schedule an appointment with me, just click the link, select date and time that suits you best, and you are all set. So people say it's magic, like I don't do anything and Booksy does all the job for me. So Booksy communicates with my clients, even the ones who are not on Booksy yet. So these are all the small things that we are working on, but I believe like when you put them all together, this is what makes Booksy really great app, that it does a lot of things for people, and they don't need to worry about that, because like Booksy will take care not only of your existing clients that already know how Booksy works, but it will also help you to
build your business.
Yeah, to grow your business and to pass that information to people who are not on Booksy yet.
So there you go, guys. There's the CEO of Booksy. He's doing everything in his power to ensure that you can grow your business and carry on doing what you enjoy doing, which is cutting hair. He's got, new hardware coming. He's developing the software, taking in every consideration of the barber shop and in the hairdressing shop. You can now multitask. It's the greatest way to manage your time and manage your business. Stefan, thank you ever so much again for sharing the benefits of Booksy to me. You've kind of opened my eyes. I just thought it was just a case of, book an appointment. The client knows when they get their appointment and notification, but there's so much more to Booksy. And, this time in 2 years' time, I cannot wait to see how bright the future will be for yourself and the typical barber trying to market his business, grow his business, and dedicate all his time to his customer rather than doing these menial tasks that takes him away from his customer. So I thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Larry. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to our evening and over.